news. As I mentioned, I was in school when 9/11 happened, and you thought, we'll be taking on terrorism, and well, here we are. What is it? 24 years later, still dealing with the same. Jim Rice joining us on the broadcast. Forgive me for keeping you waiting, sir. He's a professor
Thanks
of
for having me
international
on.
law. I mean, there is on the face of it good news. Where there is a ceasefire. Once at least some of the guns stop firing, and less people are dying on a daily basis. That's always good news. War is not happy news per se, but we are trying to sort of digest how this is being observed and how is it being understood. So where you are, and from what some limited information that you might have received over what's happened in the past 24 hours, what have you been informed with? What is the press as you're reading it, covering it where you are?
Well, I'm living in Vigan in the Philippines, which is very attuned to the West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea. So I get my news mostly from the BBC on TV as well as from online sources. And I was listening to the announcement of the ceasefire last night, and which was done on Truth Social by Mr. Trump. The thing to remember, I've been listening here for some time on your show to the guests, and I would agree with all of them in terms of their assessment about Mr. Trump, except for the fact that I would urge you to remember that Mr. Trump is an empty man. He's not curious. He doesn't know history. He doesn't have any ideological convictions. He doesn't have any moral convictions. Everything is about Mr. Trump and getting power and wealth for himself and his family. So I think that that's important to remember. His administration, his cabinet is in chaos right now. So, I am happy about the ceasefire because it means an end to the bloodshed for the time. I hope that the ceasefire holds. But I'm listening to your guests, and most of them I agree with entirely. You were talking about 9/11 yourself, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Well, in your assessment, I think that you were right. But I remember 9/11. I guess I'm a bit older than you are, but I remember that this as in my early part of my career, and it was devastating for all Americans. And they had never experienced anything like this before, and there was an almost irresistible urge to go to war because, of course, the anger and the desire for some kind of retribution, for some revenge, and for some justice. And so they did. They amassed a force, and within a month, U.S. troops were on the ground, and they drove the Taliban out. And of course, where did they go? They went to Pakistan, where they were given safe haven there. And then the war dragged on for something like 20 years, and it was a waste of American lives and a waste of vast amount of money. So, if again, I'm just an American. I'm not from India, and my advice, as I was reflecting just the other day, is to follow the course of what the Indian government has been doing up until now. Strike at the terrorist training camps, strike at precision targets, try not to avoid a wider war, and most importantly of all, doing good police work. You mentioned the murder of Daniel Pearl, I believe.
Yes.
Well, again, this was how did they track down these terrorists? How did they track down Bin Laden? They did it through careful and quiet police work or investigation work, intelligence work that was done mostly in the shadows. And so India now faces the same kind of terrorist threat that the United States faced, and I believe is still facing. And so, again, my suggestion, for what it's worth, as an outside observer, is to continue to do what the Indian government has been doing for two reasons. First of all, it's more effective. And secondly, it's the morally right thing to do, and it will be recognized globally as such.
Okay, just stay with me. Daniel Bodman joining us as well. Uh, Daniel, of course,